Hiya, my name's Megan and I'm administrator at WaterBear. You might have received an email from me or spoken to me so far if you've got in contact. So alongside all that, I'm also a vocalist in my own right, and I have an originals project called Miss Franklin. It's very much at the beginning stage for me. I started it quite late. I'm a vocalist. I did a lot of functions work, cruise ships, teaching, and I came to songwriting a lot later. So that's all bubbling under the surface at the minute and all becoming very exciting.
And I am Amba, and I am officially the head of vocals at WaterBear. This is all very new to me as well, but I have been teaching for approximately 15 years now, as well as being a session singer and musician. I've been in covers bands, function bands. I'm also the musical director of a free-to-access young person's charity, which I think is the largest in the South Coast. And yeah, so music is life, and I'm looking forward to teaching vocals here.
So we're going to chat to you about a professional career as a vocalist outside of things like X Factor that have become huge within the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been just everywhere, hasn't it?
It's pretty much something that young people especially think is their go-to into the industry. But we're kind of here to tell you that you can do so much more without going down that route.
Yeah, and don't get us wrong, we have both had experience in that. So we're not doing this outside of, not experiencing it ourselves. And it actually can be a good route for some people. It depends on the person.
I think if I hadn't have gone down that route when I was 20, which I'll explain about, I don't think I'd have done anything that I'm doing now. So yeah, we're not here to tell you that it's the wrong thing to do, but what there is this whole world outside of that you can actually make a fantastic living from. For me personally, I was 20 years old. I actually entered a TV show that was before X Factor. It was big of its time. It was called This Is My Moment, hosted by a Spice Girl, Mel B. It was amazing. There was a cash prize. It was an audition. You went in on the Wednesday. You sang for a panel of judges. If you got through, you stayed. And then you were through to live TV that Saturday night. My first experience ever with live TV, I walked out into a crowd of 250 faces with 3 or 4 cranes of cameras around me, sang for my life, and at the end of the evening I won with 304,000 public votes, and I said thank you very much, and they gave me some money and said good luck, kid. and that was pretty much my experience. It's what I've done since that has helped me to create a sustainable living through music. But if I hadn't have done that, then who knows where I would have been, basically.
Yeah, definitely. I think it can give you a good platform if you're willing to use it in the right way and if you know what you're doing. And I think it helps you slightly, you probably find it helped you discover yourself and where you can actually go within music.
It was actually, I'd always wanted to sing and I always wanted to perform. It was very, very much in my blood. But this came about by accident. A friend said to me, you should enter this. It was a particularly kind of dark time in my life. And, you know, I just went for it. I sang down the phone for 30 seconds, you know. So there was 56,000 entrants that week. They wanted to pick 50. I was very, very fortunate that I got through to that 50. But when the show was over and the doors were closed and I was suddenly watching the TV with the next episode, it suddenly made me realise, well, I've got to do this now on my own. Yeah. I've got to do something with this. And then that's when joining a function band, that's when going out on the gig circuit came about, and teaching. Obviously, it was great to have that on my CV, but my experience in bands and music and going out helped me to get a teaching job. And then the rest kind of has taken shape since then.
I don't know about you, but I sometimes dread people asking me what I do, because I'm a professional vocalist, but the list goes on forever, because there is so much more that you can do as a professional vocalist than you originally think. It's not just about singing, becoming famous, making your own music. We have to be, you know, wear so many different clothes.
You have to be everything when you're a freelance singer, and I think it's not a quick job. It's not something you can go, oh, today I'm going to do this, and then ta-da, I'm a singer. There is so much groundwork that needs to be done if you want to be a sustainable kind of vocalist. But the weird thing is when you've done live TV and you've won something quite public, people then, if they don't see you publicly for a while, then they think that you failed. And it's like, oh, such a shame that you haven't done anything. It's, are you still doing music? You know, and it's a bit, you end up having to explain yourself quite a lot. However, I was very, very fortunate that I got involved in a project with a friend of mine. He had a little bit of funding. He said, do you want to do a vocal group? We started off with 8 young people that had come through some of my singing lessons. And then before you knew it, this kind of organisation had grown. And so I think knowing that that was part of my income and it was something I loved helped me to kind of relax a little bit. So I was earning some money, teaching singing to a bunch of young people that really appreciated it. And at the same time, I was able then to buy myself some PA equipment and go out and sing in a pub or two, which turned into a few shows, which turned into charity events, and then more corporate. Mm-hmm. So you can see the development of, you know, the things kind of growing. And thankfully, then social media was born. Mm-hmm. And I think with the birth of social media, and anyone that knew me from way back then or had seen the newspaper cuttings of local girl kind of on TV kind of thing, now my social media presence has been able to show people what I do. Yeah, and it's really, really helped me. So yeah, I mean, it was great, but it wasn't something I looked to do. It happened and I walked away with an opportunity that I wasn't prepared to waste, mm-hmm. but it's what I've done since that has absolutely no relation to reality TV in any way, that has helped me to have a career, you know, consistently.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well it is that thing of, like you say, it forces you to get creative with what you want to do. And I'm very similar to you. I was teaching in theatre schools, teaching singing to groups of 30, to individuals, but on the side, myself, I'm packing my bag and going and gigging at the weekend and doing covers and singing other people's songs. And that's why I actually got into songwriting quite late, because I never considered myself as someone that can make up my own tune.
But you spend so long doing other people's.
Exactly, exactly. So when you're teaching children and even just doing warm-ups, you're then learning so much more about how music works, about what you enjoy. Yeah. And you can, you know, I get a lot of vocalists and vocal friends who go, well, I could never songwrite, as well as doing covers and things like that. But there are so many doors to being able to just opening up, even if you can just sing one line of a chorus. Yeah. That's the beginning of a song. The
reality for me is, if I didn't have some covers bands to fall back on, if I didn't go out and explore the kind of function band, covers bands, singing songs that I was inspired by, I wouldn't have had any money to be able to sit down and concentrate on original material and work with amazing songwriters and be a part of my originals band. All those things that we are so passionate about, that we put all of our creative input into, wouldn't have been possible if I didn't suck it up, go out and sing some stuff and earn a bit of money at the weekend. It has been my absolute lifeline.
Yeah, and I think taking it back to the whole kind of TV show and X Factor thing as well, it really does thicken your skin. Yeah. I mean, I came from a theatre background, so as a child I was auditioning week on week, Cosette and Les Mis and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I was actually in the West End as a child, and that in itself thickened my skin. But then you go into this music industry world and you're no longer a child. And you get used to auditioning for people, and you get used to just going in and owning what you do. And I think that's given me my thicker skin for my career afterwards, of owning my, you know, my teaching and my sessions work and networking with people. You get used to understanding that every opportunity is an opportunity. And we didn't know each other 2 months ago?
Yeah, I know.
And you just kind of fall upon people and you just find each other and you kind of end up networking with a whole new group of people. And
it's funny you say that. Like, before reality kind of talent shows, before that, people had pretty much been in an industry, in an environment, doing what they're doing for a long time. So you kind of get used to developing your craft and learning how to, set up a PA system, learning how to level your mics, learning, what you need in your monitors and
how to hold your mic.
And how to hold your mic. You learn all these things, and I think that there's a lot of bedroom singers, there's a lot of young people especially who haven't had that training process, who don't know what it's like to do all those things yet, which is fine. But when they put themselves in a vulnerable situation and they go out and they step out on a stage and they're asking a panel of people and a whole audience of people whether they're good enough, if they haven't yet developed that thick skin and they haven't done a few auditions, or they haven't been in a band for 3 or 4 years, kind of slumming it a little bit, then it can be an absolutely soul-destroying moment. Yeah, so definitely. You have to think about, whether or not it's for you, whether or not you have enough support behind you. in music, if you haven't got any support behind you in music, like people in your family don't know anything about music, then of course try these things, you know, go and put yourself on TV and see where it takes you. But if you have got a good network in your city or your family, or you can go and buy a guitar, and you know, then I would say that's a great avenue as well.
Yeah, I definitely came to the whole reality show thing. You know, I've been through a process of doing auditions, but I came to it later because I didn't feel like I knew myself.
Yeah.
I would have just been another body walking into a room, singing another cover, doing it pretty well, but not sound, you know, I could go from sounding one person to the other. It wouldn't be Megan singing. It would definitely be that kind of covers thing. And I think especially with YouTube and, like you say, bedroom singers, you teach as well a lot. You can hear who people listen to every time someone opens their mouth, and that naturally happens anyway as a technique, I think. But it is interesting, kind of all that dynamic with that, and then you're going onto TV, and are you actually portraying yourself yet? Because have you given yourself that kind of time? So shall we chat about some of the kind of, I suppose, mechanisms you can put into place outside of that TV stuff?
Absolutely.
What would you suggest first and foremost?
I mean, YouTube is a huge tool. I mean, I actually, yesterday, for the first time, I started my own podcast. And although I love writing and I love expressing myself, I struggle to finish my blogs, basically, and put them out. But I didn't struggle to talk. So it was really good, very therapeutic. And I put the podcast out, and suddenly 100 people have listened to that podcast. So it does make you realise how important using social media is. For me personally, YouTube is a massive go-to, and people can have fantastic financial benefits from being well known on YouTube, and actually doing a lot of it from the comfort of their own studios, their own setups, not having to worry about record labels seeing them or anything, you know. So YouTube, I would say, is a great start.
Yeah,
start getting some videos up, even if they're small, intimate sharings, to full-on professional videos that you might have had done or you might have paid to have done.
Yeah,
it's a great tool.
Yeah, and you know, record labels still exist. The traditional way of doing things is still there.
Yep.
It's just we are surrounded by the social media element of things. You know, we've still got things like BBC Introducing for your local area.
Exactly.
We've got local festivals. You know, no matter how big or small, there's ways of getting out there. And you know, at the end of the day, even if your followers are your family, you're thinking about that network of who does your mum know, who are her friends, who are her friends, or his friends. Yeah, it's a huge bubble. You can reach anyone. It's kind of like word of mouth, I suppose, isn't it? And so there are ways of doing that still, definitely.
Even right down to like crowdfunding, and you can set up your own campaigns. It's worth the look into, basically. There are loads and loads of organisations online that you can tap into, pledge, crowdfunding, which will help you kickstart your career, even if you don't yet know what that is. You know, you can start up a campaign, you can start to raise money, you can do a few YouTube videos. You know, it's pretty easy to self-release on Spotify, iTunes, and it's just worth looking into at the same time as either looking down the reality TV route, or in fact as an alternative. So
yeah, even with things like SoundCloud, that's quite a good way to start that ball rolling. It's ripping off the Band-Aid if you are you're more nervous about it, because it can be quite a big thing if it's your own music, especially. It's that first initial push, isn't it?
There are even apps. There are apps that can help you demonstrate your vocal ability. Things like multi-part harmonies, even your video making skills. Really, really simple things that sometimes only cost you 99p online. You have a lot of control now, as opposed to, I think, maybe a few years ago when people were waiting to be picked up. Now you are the creator of your own musical destiny. You can go off and do an audition for X Factor, or you can sit at home and make videos of yourself, or download an app and say, this is what I recorded today, and then share that to your friends and family, which will in turn grow.
Yeah. So a few tips for you to take away then. So I'm going to kick off with saying, have a look and research all of these platforms that we've talked about, because it is quite hard picking one, and we've used multiple over the years. So make sure that you research that, and especially, you know, the degree at WaterBear, that is one thing that we majorly focus on. It's all about research and finding, you know, what fits you best. There isn't one size fits all with these kind of things, and you've got to pick the perfect one for you?
I would say one of the tips to take away from this is to look at what you can access straight away, even just from your phone, things like YouTube. If you haven't got a YouTube account yet, set one up. If you don't have a SoundCloud, set one up. You don't know yet what content you can put on them, but having them at your fingertips, being able to record something on your phone just via an app and uploading them is starting to build your social media presence.
Yeah, from a performing point of view, I definitely say open mics are a
Absolutely.
great thing. They can be quite terrifying if it is your first one, but they are really, really good fun, and especially around Brighton, we have hundreds of them, and they are a great way to network as well. There might be someone there that is a guitarist who can't sing. He might need or she might need a singer. There might be someone, you know, that inspires you to learn a different genre of music. You just don't know where that evening's going to take you. So definitely get yourself along to some open mics, even if it's just a watch to start off with.
And on the subject of open mic, like you say, it can be really, really terrifying. But if you are an instrumentalist, or you've dabbled in a few chords, or you think you're not a very good player, guitar, drums, bass, anything, I would say that practice, keep learning, and, you know, kind of honing your craft a little bit. Practice in the bedroom, you know, kind of get the keyboard out or the guitar out, and, you know, try and piece together a couple of songs, you know, just work on it a little bit, and it will really, really help your kind of musicality as well.
So if you're finding that music is becoming more important to you, or it's something that you've been doing for a while, feel free to head over to our website and you can contact us. We love hearing from you. We love hearing about everything that you're doing. And remember to check out our courses. The BA is a great way to kind of help complete everything we've been talking about, develop your music, your originals music, and getting a good network of people surrounding you. Likewise, if you are more developed already and you're out there working, the MA is a great thing to help prop up what you've already got going on in your musical life.